Hi, Telltale. This is Michael from Pennsylvania. I'm calling because I wanted to ask if back when you were a believer, you ever thought you were hearing the voice of God. I know that it's something that happened to me. I could sort of get myself into this state where I thought I was hearing God's voice. And I'm curious to know if that ever happened to you, or what you think about that sort of thing. I don't think that it was like an actual hearing voices, schizophrenia sort of thing, but more of just like a meditation kind of thing. Anyway, I'd like to know your thoughts. Bye.
Just want to point out that's an interesting question, a really interesting question. Just because you hear voices does not necessarily mean that you have a mental illness. Having schizophrenia requires a certain number of visual or auditory hallucinations per month. I don't remember what it is. It's been a long time since I've looked at the DSM-5 definition of schizophrenia, but I think it's like a minimum of 3 visual or auditory hallucinations per month or something like that to be considered schizophrenic. Having visual hallucinations just out the side, like the corner of your vision, in your peripheral vision, that could actually be a sign of physical, possibly. I had that for like a long time when I was younger, like 15 or 16 or something like that. I would see something move out of the periphery of my vision when nothing was actually moving at all. So hearing or seeing things isn't necessarily a sign of mental illness, but to answer your question more directly, I don't think that I ever heard any voices or anything. I think I could have probably talked myself into believing that I had. Kylie's great-grandmother, my daughter's great-grandmother, she is mega religious, like really, really religious, believes in God to the bottom of her heart. And she tells me that she has actually heard God's voice. He has literally spoken to her. I think it's possible that I don't remember anything like that because Jehovah's Witnesses don't have a belief that God speaks to people individually. I think Mormonism believes that everybody receives revelation in their everyday lives if they're like members of the church or whatever. Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe that normal people receive revelation or don't believe that God speaks directly to every human. They believe that only the governing body members, or actually only anointed people, I think. It's either anointed people or governing body members receive direct revelation from God. I don't remember which for Jehovah's Witnesses. At any rate, that's probably what added to the fact that I never claimed to have heard God's voice directly. But I do know a lot of people who do claim that. It's fairly easy to convince yourself of something if you really, really want to believe it.